Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me in this class. So today we will be focusing on the deep front line, and it's kind of a series of muscles that are the very deepest muscles within us that we don't see externally, but they're very important for things like our posture. So the deep neck flexors, the diaphragm, the psoas, inner thigh muscles, pelvic floor, they're all connected, and so we're going to have a little play around exploring activating these muscles and how they kind of all work together to hold us in these nice, strong postures as we flow through. Like always with all of my classes, I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy this. And remember that if it's challenging, don't worry. That's why we keep coming back to try it out again and just enjoy it for what it is at the moment. So whenever you're ready, we'll get started standing at the front of the mat. So I want you to come to stand just towards the front of the mat and have your feet parallel, but a little bit wider than shoulder width distance. So they're nice and wide, just kind of towards the edges of your mat. And begin thinking now about the placement of your feet down on the mat. So really press down through the heels, the outside of the foot, through the ball of the foot. But lift through the inner arches and press down through the toes at the same time. So you start to get this activation in the feet. And now without actually moving your feet on the mat, start to squeeze your thighs together as if you're trying to pull your feet towards each other. Lift up through the pelvic floor as well. And you should feel this kind of activation trickling up through your body. And finally, bring your chin and just draw it back. So it's not a matter of looking up or looking down, but just pulling your chin back so that your shoulders and your ears are aligned. So it might feel like you're doing a little bit of like a chicken neck, okay? And what we're doing here is activating the deep neck flexors, and hopefully you get this trickling down of activation now in towards your core area through this squeezing in of the thighs and retraction of the chin. A little bit of activation through the glutes and TVA probably happening already without you even needing to think about it, just through this. And I want you to just find, about a 70 or 80% activation. You don't have to be super clenched, super squeezing, but take a moment now, close your eyes and just feel this in your body. Maybe even relax and pull all of those muscles back in again and feel this connection between the feet all the way up towards the neck and from the neck down by activating these muscles slightly. And then get a smooth, steady breathing rhythm going. So make sure as you inhale, you're allowing your diaphragm to expand downwards, and this will give your belly the effect as if it's kind of poking out a little bit when you inhale. And then as you exhale, the diaphragm will lift up, and simultaneously the pelvic floor will as well. And you can just help that out by kind of doing that a little bit intentionally to begin with. Just get this breathing rhythm going where the inhale allows everything to expand downwards with a relaxing kind of feeling. And the exhale allows everything to kind of hug inwards and upwards. So perhaps a little bit of a deliberate feeling at first, but try and make it a little bit more natural and a little bit more relaxed. And we'll try and keep this breathing rhythm throughout the class, because we want the pelvic floor and the diaphragm to be involved with our inhales and exhales. And they will be naturally. Sometimes we have to switch it on, activate it intentionally, just to get it going. And perhaps take this moment now to set an intention. Remember that through the practice of yoga, it's really ultimately just about learning more about yourself. So it's not about what you can do with your body. It's not about the shapes that you make. It's not about if this class is easy or hard for you. It's about what you learn on the way. So pay attention not just to the sensations in your body, but the thoughts in your mind, how your mind reacts to what your body tells you. And remember, there is no right or wrong as long as you're listening, as long as you're aware, as long as you're breathing. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And once again, if you've lost any of that activation, just go ahead and start squeezing your inner thighs together. Pull the chin back. Make sure you're not looking up, but your chin is still parallel to the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, keep the glutes nice and active as you bend the knees. You can bring the hands down to heart center, coming down towards Malasana. If this is as far as you can go, that's cool. If you're really flexible and you can go down really far, I want you to lift up. So we're all kind of about the same. One inhale here. As you exhale, start to straighten the knees, keep the chest low, bring the hands down to the mat. Keep the knees bent. You can just kind of sway from side to side here. Whatever feels nice for you at the beginning. And we're just going to kind of keep that swaying motion as we slowly walk the feet to the back of the mat, but keep them wide. So keep the feet towards the edges of the mat until you come into a downward facing dog. Feet still wide. Lift the tailbone up. Open the shoulders. Press the chest back towards the thighs. Press down through the outsides of the feet here. Lift up through the inner arches, but make sure the balls of the feet stay down. So perhaps getting a little bit of a stretch through the outsides of the shins, but also keeping a nice activation through the inner thighs. Inhale, come up onto the tiptoes, rock your shoulders forward into plank. Exhale, lower everything down to the mat all the way. Reach the hands back behind you, lift the legs up off the mat, and draw your chin back like we did before. So again, it's not about lifting up. Keep your face down towards the mat. Draw your chin back as far as you can, like you're giving yourself a double chin. Exhale, lower back down to the mat. Place your hands underneath the elbows. Tuck the toes under behind you. Lift everything back up into our wide stance, downward facing dog, so feet still wide. And just the way that we came, walk the feet back up to the top of the mat. Nice and slow, just kind of like wiggling along the way, working out any tight, sticky spots that you might have. We're not going to take a huge amount of time to warm up. This is the warm up, so do what you need to do here as you walk your feet forward. When you get the feet back to the front of the mat, start to bend the knees again. Lower the hips down as if you're coming into a Malasana, but we won't go fully into our yogi squat. Just stand back up. Reach the arms up once more. Glutes nice and tight. Squeeze the legs together towards each other. Exhale, back down. Hands down to heart center. Squat down. Keeping it nice and active so that if you need to stand up at some point, if for whatever reason you gotta go, you're ready to go. You're not just sinking down here, okay? Inhale, exhale, plant the hands, same as before. Start to lift the tailbone high towards the ceiling, straightening in the knees. But you can keep them bent if you need to, just wherever you get to. And we're gonna walk the feet back towards our downward facing dog. Feet still wide at the edges of the mat. Once again, find your downward facing dog here with the inner arches of the feet lifted up. Squeeze the thighs together. As you exhale, come onto the tiptoes, rock your shoulders forward, squeeze the glutes, bend the elbows, lower all the way down to the mat. Pull the chin back as you lift the chest and the shoulders up. Lift the legs behind you in your locust pose. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hands under the elbows, tuck the toes, press everything back up. Press the chest back towards the thighs, downward facing dog. And this time we'll walk the hands back towards the feet, bend in the knees, lower the hips down. If your heels come up, that's cool. If you can keep the heels down, that's also just fine. Coming towards our Malasana once again, so bring your hands to heart center, and this time with the elbows on the inside of the knees, I want you to press your knees into the elbows. And so if you're the more flexible type, it should be hard for you because you're having to lift up out of this, and if you're more tight, then this will also be hard for you as you try and lower the butt down. So we're kind of all on the same playing field here. Keep squeezing the thighs together. One more breath. And as you exhale, just relax wherever you are. Find a nice, comfortable spot, whether that's sinking down towards Malasana or folding forward. Just take a little breather. And then we'll lift the hips back up, come back into that squat. Squeeze the elbows with the knees. So you should feel your inner thighs really burning. One more breath. And relax. Once again, we got one more round of that. And of course, you're always welcome to do it for a bit longer than me. But we've got quite a bit still in store for the rest of this class. So when you're ready, one more time, lift up out of your Malasana. Find it really, really active. Squeeze the elbows with the knees. Whew, and then relax back down. If your thighs are not burning there, then you're not doing it right, or you have thighs of steel. So come back into your downward facing dog, and finally you can bring your feet to hip width distance here. But just like before, make sure you're lifting up through the inner arches of the feet and still pressing down through the balls of the feet. Find that smooth, steady rhythm of breath, feeling your diaphragm moving up and down with the inhale and the exhale. You can bring a little bit of activation to your deep neck flexors, same as we did before. Standing up, just think about giving yourself a bit of a double chin as you retract your chin back. Okay, step your left foot to the middle of the mat. Lift your right leg up behind you, bend the right knee, open up your hip. Breathe through the space you've created along the front right side of the body. Inhale. As you exhale, come up onto the tiptoes of the left foot. Bring the right knee towards the left elbow. Stay on the tiptoes of the left foot. You can stay here or you can extend the right leg straight. And we'll come all the way back up through our 3-leg down dog. Right knee is bent. Open up the hips, stretch it out. Inhale. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. Extend the leg straight. Bring it all the way back. Open up. In your split dog, right knee bent. Take an inhale. Exhale, right knee, left elbow, extend the leg straight. This time, bend the right knee once again. Shift it to the center line. Press up through your chest, create space. Flex the right foot, rock forward. Slowly place the right foot down underneath you. Lower the left knee down. Reach your arms up overhead as you bring your hips back so your hips are in line, stacked on top of the left knee. Clasp your hands behind your head. Take an inhale and draw your elbows towards each other. Simultaneously press your head back towards your hands. Exhale. Inhale here, squeeze the glutes. As you exhale, round through the spine. So think about a cat shape. Really tuck the tailbone as you draw your elbows down towards your pelvis. Inhale, open up, push the hips forward slightly. Think about your cow shape now. Just open up into a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, push the hips back over the left knee. Tilt the pelvis back. Think about cat shape. Inhale, in your back bend. Exhale, round to the spine, lean back. So just think about kind of your cat-cow moves that you typically do in a tabletop position. You can move forward and backwards a few more times here. Just going back between a back bend kind of shape where we extend through the spine and a forward fold, a really rounded shape, flexing through the spine. Try and spread it out evenly throughout the spine though. Not just moving in one area or another, but really trying to round and open up through the whole spine. Cool, one more time. Good. Release your arms, come back through your low lunge. Raise your arms up overhead, tuck the left toes under behind you. Lift the back knee just off the mat, but keep it bent. So we're not quite in a crescent lunge, still staying really active through the legs. Now what we're gonna do is just spin around to the left and spin the left leg around. Place the left foot flat. Come into a goddess pose. So lift up through the inner arches. Make sure you're actively pressing the knees back behind you, but keep the pelvis neutral. Bring the arms out to the side. Again, as you inhale, think about your cow shape. So open up through the front body. Exhale, hug an imaginary friend in front of you and really round through the spine. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round. Inhale, open up. I wonder if my mic just picked up how many clicks my back just did. Exhale, round. Good. Probably feeling a bit of burning through the thighs now, so we'll come off the thighs, get a little bit of a bounce going. What we're gonna do is step onto the right leg, bring the left knee across the chest towards the right elbow. For one, step back to your goddess and do the same on the other side. 2, left knee, right elbow, goddess. right knee, left elbow, goddess. 3, 4, keep breathing through your nose. And think about this, 5, like you're just working the inner thigh muscles. 6, to bring the leg across the chest. 7, so it's not so much about twisting. 8, rather just what the leg is doing. 9, we're going for 10s. We got 1 more. Whew. Good, come back into your goddess pose for 1 breath. Spin the back foot flat. Warrior 2, right foot pointing forwards towards the front of the mat. Come up onto the tiptoes of the back foot. Lower the left knee down. Pick the left heel up and spin your left shin parallel to the back of the mat. So we're in a little baby warrior 2. Place your hands at your hips. Actually, take the right hand to the inside of the right knee and just bend into that right knee, stretching it out. Keep the right knee in line with the right toes. You can bring yourself back out of that and bend back into it again. Back out. This is one of my favorite things to do. And in, little baby warrior 2. Good. And then straighten the right knee. Lower the left hand to the back of the mat. Reach the right arm up over your head. Pick the left foot up off the mat just enough so you can swivel around on the left knee and open your hips and chest up slightly, sort of towards the ceiling, just opening up, getting a bit of a stretch through the front body. Pick up your right foot just enough to adjust it on the mat so it's flat on the mat, and press into your left hand to bring your left foot in line with the right foot. Lower your hips down. We'll do a little counter stretch. Place the right hand to the back of the mat, fingertips pointing over towards the right side of you. Sweep your left arm up and over, pick your hips up. Just stretch out through the body on this side. Lower the hips back down. Place your left hand back behind you, fingertips pointing out to the side. And with both feet flat on the mat, start to pick your hips up, squeeze the glutes to open your hips up as high off the mat as you can. And remember our little chicken head for our deep neck flexors. We're going to do the same here. So allow your head to drop back. Make sure that your face is kind of parallel to the ceiling though. And then press your face up high towards the ceiling like you're trying to kiss it. And then lower it back down and lift back up. So you're not nodding, but just retracting and protracting your neck in comparison to the alignment of your shoulders. So we'll do another 3, 2, you should feel this in your neck muscles. 1, good, and then come back to neutral. Shift the weight ever so slightly into the left foot. Raise your right leg up towards the ceiling. Keep the hips high, take an inhale. As you exhale, bend the right knee, slide the right foot back behind you as if you're trying to get your right knee to touch the mat. Maybe it does. You can maybe even push into the floor a little bit, getting a stretch through the right front of the right thigh. But then we'll come all the way back up to our one-legged reverse tabletop. Once again, bend the knee, get the right knee down to the mat, or just in that direction. Give it a little stretch. One more time, right leg up, right knee down to the mat. Really pull your right heel towards your butt so you can get the right shin on the mat. Give it a little stretch, and then bring your right foot back down to the mat. Lower the hips. Oh, that's a neck workout right there. We'll walk the hands forward and come back to our squat to stand back up to the front of the mat. And come back where we came to. Take a few moments here, a few breaths. Find the alignment that we started out with, so lifting up through the inner arches and squeezing the thighs together, drawing the chin back so the shoulders are in line with the ears, and feeling that activation traveling through the center of your body. Find your smooth breathing rhythm through the nose. The diaphragm and pelvic floor working in unison with each breath. Inhale, open your eyes, reach your arms up. Stretch nice and tall. Exhale, bend the knees, lower the hips. Sink your weight towards the heels as you lower down towards the Smalasana. Lift the hips up, keep the chest low. Plant your hands down to the mat. Give it a little wiggle if that feels good for you. And we'll just wiggle our way, walk our feet back into our downward facing dog with the feet at the edges of the mat. So back in this wide-legged downward facing dog. Start to walk your hands back. Now, bend the knees, lower the hips down, back into our very active malasana. So hands into prayer, elbows to the insides of the knees, and press your knees into your elbows. Feel the thighs burning for 3, 2, 1, and relax. If malasana doesn't feel like a good relaxing posture for you, you can also relax something like this or something like this. Just give your body a little break, maybe shake it out. And when you're ready, elbows to the insides of the knees, lower the hips down, or lift them up if you're resting in your malasana, and squeeze the thighs into the elbows for 3, 2, 1. Rest it out. We got one more of those. Your inner thighs will thank me. These are muscles that do tend to be weak among most people, and weak inner thigh muscles can cause all sorts of knee problems and everything, so it's really nice to take these opportunities just to give them a little bit of activation and strengthening. So when you're ready, last one, come into your active malasana, right where it just feels a little bit more difficult than is comfortable, and press the knees into the elbows for 3, 2, 1. Whoa. Walk the hands forward to the front of the mat. Shake it all out. Walk the feet back to hip width distance in your downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Again, think about your posture. So just like we did when we were standing up, maybe you can feel some activation travel up your body when you get your feet really active by lifting up the inner arches, and you get your deep core muscles active by drawing your chin back. And try and keep this alignment. It's a really nice way to teach the body through our yoga practice what it needs to be doing throughout the whole day of sitting in a nice neutral posture where our spine is happy. When you're ready, step the right foot to the middle of the mat. Lift the left leg up into a 3-legged down dog. Bend the left knee and open up the hips. Stretch and breathe through the front right side of the body. Inhale. As you exhale, draw the knee forward, rock your shoulders over the wrists, left knee to the right elbow. Extend the leg out straight if you want to, take it up a notch. Bring it all back to your 3-leg down dog. Open up the hips, breathe into that space. Exhale, left knee to the right elbow. Extend the left leg straight and bring it all the way back. One more time. In your split dog, just allow the body to open up through the front here. And then we'll activate it all. Left knee forward to the right elbow and extend the leg straight. This time, hold it there. Bend the left knee again. Come back to center. Flex the left foot and step it between the hands. Lower the right knee down. Reach the arms up as you shift your hips back in line with your right knee. Clasp your hands and bring them to the back of your head, just like we did before. Get those deep neck flexors, those neck muscles working as you press your head back towards your hands. Draw the elbows towards each other. Engage the glutes. Find a little bit of a tilt of the pelvis, so you're really rounding through the spine. And draw the elbows down towards the hips. Inhale, come back up. Open up, maybe push the hips forward, but keep the glutes active. This isn't like a chance to see how deep you can go. It's just opening up a little bit. And again, we'll just go back and forth like we did on the other side. In between this kind of cat shape where we round through the spine. Make sure your pelvis gets involved with this as well. It's not just about what the arms and the shoulders and head are doing, but think about your entire spine from the base of your skull down to your tailbone, getting it all in line. Try and create a little bit of space between each and every vertebra. When we go into our cow shape, we're opening up the vertebra at the front of the spine, and as we round in our cat shape, opening up the vertebra at the back of the spine. But really, probably what you're really feeling is your psoas stretching out, which is really nice. All right, one more time, this cat shape, and open up. Reach the arms up overhead. Tuck the right toes under. Same as before, just press into the right toes, just enough to lift the left knee up off the mat. I'm going to spin around. I'm going to be facing the back wall. You get to take a break from seeing my face. You probably hate me by now anyway. But we'll take the arms wide. Find the shape of your goddess pose so that you're really working in the leg muscles. The knees are in line with the toes. Open up, inhale. Reach the hands back behind you. Think about that cow shape. Exhale, really round the spine. Remember, get the pelvis involved as well. Hug your imaginary friend in front of you. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round. I'm going to spin around to face you for this one. We're going to do just like we did on the other side, where we bring the knee across the body. So you can repeat that if you want, or if you want to take it up a notch, and it feels good for you, we'll put a little hop into it, okay? So get a little bit of a bounce going, and 10 on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We probably all look silly. That's okay. 7, 8, we look silly together. 9, 10. Whew, good. Find your warrior two. This time the left knee is bent. So left toes pointing towards the front wall. Extend your arms out. Just for a breath. Spin to the toes of the right foot. Bend the right knee. Lower the right knee down. Pick the right foot up so you can spin around and place the right shin parallel with the back of the mat. Right hand to your right hip. Take your left hand to the left inside of the left knee. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bend into that left leg. Come back out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Straighten the left knee. Come up to bring the right hand down to the back of the mat. Reach the left arm up and just spin a little bit on the right knee so you can open your chest and hips up slightly towards the ceiling. Again, just stretching, but this isn't an opportunity to just dump. We want to stay active, so keep the glutes active. Make sure you're still pushing up through that right shoulder so the body stays protected. All those vulnerable joints are still happy, but you still get a nice stretch as well. Bend the left knee just a little bit so you can place the left foot firmly on the mat. Shift your weight into the left foot and the right hand. Pick up the right knee and bring the right foot in line with the left. Push the hips up. Inhale. Exhale as you sit the butt down. Spin around. Place the left hand down. Push the hips up. Inhale into the body once more, and come back to center. Place the feet about hip width distance. Place the hands at the back of the mat, or towards the back of the mat, with the fingers pointing out to the side. If you want to, you can take a little breather here. I'm just going to spin back around so I'm facing in the same direction again as where we started. You don't need to spin around though. When you're ready, squeeze the glutes, push the hips up towards the ceiling. Same as before, just for 5, we'll do 5 of those little chicken head neck workout things. So 3, 2, 1, just feeling those neck muscles working. Come back to neutral and shift your weight into the right foot so you can pick the left foot up off the mat, extend it straight. If you're not super flexible as well, it can just stay here, just towards straight, but keep the hips high. Wherever your left leg is, keep the hips high. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bend the knee, really squeeze the left heel towards the left butt, and see if you can bring the knee back behind you to lower the left knee down to the mat. Lift everything back up, extend, stretch that hamstring out, and exhale, bend the left knee, place it down on the mat. You can get a little stretch here as well if that feels good for you by pushing into the hips. Inhale, lift the left leg up. One more time, exhale, really squeeze in that hamstring. Squeeze the glutes to lower the left knee down. Open up through the front of the left hip. One last time, lift the left leg up, stretch through that hamstring, and lower the left foot down. Relax the hips down. Walk the hands forward. And we're back into our Malasana. Take a few breaths here. Malasana is a really nice posture as well to think about the involvement of the pelvic floor as we breathe in and out. Malasana is perhaps one of the most natural postures that we can take, but which we've kind of lost the ability to do in our Western lifestyles. It's a really, really good one to work towards if you struggle here. All right, just stay there and breathe for a little bit longer. I'll explain to you the different options that you've got for what's next. We're gonna do a little bit of jumping. So option one, you can kind of come into a little squat and just do some little hops like this, okay? That's option one. If you want to take it up a level, then we'll squat all the way from Malasana to jump and go all the way down fully, okay? Option three is from our Malasana, we jump and then we do a Malasana in the air. So we jump, knees to armpits, land in your Malasana. All right, we're gonna do 5 of those. When you're ready, find the option that works for you. Take a deep breath in and go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, good job, you did it. Sit your hips back and pull your knees in to your chest. Lean back, balance on that fleshy bit between the sit bones and the sacrum. Find your deep neck flexor, so make sure your chin's not jutting forward, but find a neutral spine. Take your hands, clasp them together. Extend your legs straight. Breathe, take an inhale. As you exhale, open your legs wide and bring the legs together. Open wide and back together, wide. And together, keep breathing. We'll just do about 10. Maybe you feel tired from the jumping, but we're working through different muscle fibers now with these slow movements. So you got it in you to just do a few more. I'm doing them right here with you. I'm suffering with you. Come on, one more time. One more. Pull your knees into your chest and roll back onto your back. Now place your left foot flat on the mat. Pull the left heel as close towards your hips as you can. And just hug your right knee into your chest. Try and get as much contact between the right thigh and your chest as you can. And don't let that contact go. As you press down through the heel of the left foot and press your hips high. So don't let the right knee come away from you at all. And what this does is it keeps the hips tilted. So what we're doing is really working through the left glute, opening up through left psoas. Just keep breathing here. Keep pushing the hips high. One more breath. And relax down. Release the right foot. Get a little bit of a roll going. Come back into your Malasana. So if it doesn't quite happen for you like that, you can use a bit of momentum. Or, of course, you can use your hands. We'll come back into our Malasana. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, are we going to do it again? You're absolutely right. Remember, you've got options. You can also start here and just do knees to armpits from standing, okay? So you've got your options. When you're ready, arms overhead, retract your chin, and when you're ready, we'll do 5 more jumps of your choice. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, and an extra one just for fun. Rock back into your Navasana, your boat pose. You can have the knees bent if it's just too much for you. Just make sure you don't lose the neutral shape of your spine. And we'll take the legs wide and back together. 10, wide, and together. 9, wide, and together. 8. Just keep breathing through your nose. 7, 6, 5, chin stays back. 4, 3, 2, Last one, good. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll back onto your back. Keep hold of the left knee. Place the right foot down flat. Now again, make as much contact between your left thigh and your chest as you can. Begin to press down into the right heel to activate the glutes and the hamstrings and press your hips up. If you find that your knee starts wanting to come away, that's probably signifying that your hips are tilting. We want to keep the hips really tilting as far back in our posterior tilt as possible so that the right glutes are having to do their job of extending the hip, and this helps to open up through the psoas. And keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax everything down. This time you can stay on your back. Lift your legs up towards straight. Soles of the feet parallel to the ceiling. Cross your right knee over the left and bend both knees. You can reach, kind of grab your shins or your ankles just to help kind of go into this external rotation. Just wherever feels comfortable for you. And then while we're here in our kind of reclined cow face pose, you can take a little twist by bringing the legs over towards the left side of you. Turn your head towards the right. Once again, you can bring your awareness to your breath and how the expansion and compression of the lungs is affecting the diaphragm. In fact, it's the other way around. The diaphragm is what's allowing your breath to work, but just paying attention to these inner workings of the body. We got a lot of muscles that are deep down that we don't ever see. We're not too concerned about having them super toned and all this, but they do a lot of work for us. And they're all connected. So it's really nice to have a workout that's kind of focused on these muscles. And hopefully if you didn't know where they were at the beginning of this class, you do now. Roll yourself back up to center, extend the legs straight, feet pointing up towards the ceiling, and cross the left knee over the right, bend the knees, and just move into this reclined cow face pose in the way that feels good for you. This actually isn't one of my favorites. I'm not so flexible in this in this way, but it feels good right now. And when you're ready, take a twist by bringing both legs over towards the right side of you and extend the left arm, look over towards the left shoulder. Again. Think about breathing in all directions. Breathe towards the back of the ribs, the side ribs, and down into the belly. And I hope that you have felt at some point the power of a simple breath. And I encourage you to think about that, not just when you're on your yoga mat, but throughout your life. Anytime you're faced with any kind of challenge, it doesn't even have to be a big challenge. It can just simply be to choose the healthy option when you're looking at the restaurant menu, or smile at somebody that annoys you. But first use the breath. Through the nose. Inhale back to center. And make any movements now that you feel you need in your body. If you like, we'll do one more little exercise together. So as you bring your knees towards your armpits, straighten the knees, grab the outsides of the feet into your happy baby. You can play around here in a more traditional happy baby kind of pose where you pull the knees down towards the armpits, or you can release your feet. Bring the knees in line with the hips. Bring your hands to the insides of the knees. And just for one last little oomph of the inner thigh muscles, press your knees against your hands, but press your hands down towards your knees. So there's like a little battle going on between your legs and your arms. And eventually probably the legs will win, but just give them one last workout. And then take your happy baby again, stretch it out. So I encourage you to repeat that as many times as you like, but whenever you're ready, you can extend your legs to the corners of the mat, have your arms down by your side, and allow every muscle in your body now to soften and find a state of relaxation. I'll leave you finally with this. Sometimes we feel like we're too busy for this resting posture, Shavasana, or, it's not, it doesn't augment our workouts. But actually, if you want to be fully in control of any muscle, you need to be able to switch it off as well as activate it. So think about that as you scan your body and find a sense of restfulness and peace in every part of your body, and hopefully in your mind as well. Stay there for as long as you need. And I hope that I'll see you again soon here in this class or in my many other classes here. Make sure and subscribe. Make sure and leave a comment. I love hearing from you. And remember to thank yourself for getting through this challenging class. Remember that each time you do it will be a little bit easier. Namaste.